Well, the Champions League final is upon us, and you know what? I'm actually looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be quite a fun clash. So none of my predictions really came true last time around. Well, one of them did, but overall, my predictions for the Champions League have not been correct this season. I did not envisage this final being the one that's taking place, but hey, I'm all here for it. I'm here for a team going through a little shocking run, shall we say, a more interesting run than making the final than, say, the teams you always expect to be there. This year's Champions League final is Real Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. Like I said, this is a final clash I don't think anyone saw coming. Borussia Dortmund meet Real Madrid under the arch of Wembley. Both teams have been enjoying quite different seasons, but in a match of this magnitude, nothing else matters. Real Madrid were crowned La Liga champions as they won their 36th Spanish crown, with a 10-point gap between them and their second-place rivals, Barcelona. As per usual, Los Blancos dominated the domestic league in Spain, also winning their 13th Supercopa, as they also beat Barca in that as well. They failed to make it a domestic treble though, as they failed to beat their Madrid rivals in the round of 16 of the Copa del Rey. Actually went on to be won by Athletic Club, so, you know, another shocking winner, shall we say. Despite that bump in the road though, it's been pretty smooth sailing for Real Madrid, as they only lost once in La Liga. They can count 2 of their players in the top 10 La Liga goal scorers, with former Dortmund man Jude Bellingham finding himself in 3rd, as the Englishman scored 19 goals in his debut La Liga season. Vinny Jr. also finds himself there, in joint 8th place with 15 goals to his name. And to think these lot are signing Mbappe and Hendrick as well. Good lord. Los Blancos had to battle their opponents' Bavarian rivals to make it this stage in what was quite a tight affair. Bayern had thought they'd done enough, but Joselu had other ideas, as the Spaniards scored a late brace in Madrid to ensure Real progressed to Wembley. And honestly, that was a pretty entertaining match. I did want Bayern Munich to win, but Joselu had other ideas. And it's actually mad to see how far he's come since his time in England, because when he was here, he couldn't hit anything. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And now here he is scoring late goals in the Champions League to secure his team qualification for the next round. It's very interesting to see. It's been a season to forget for Borussia Dortmund. They finished 5th in the Bundesliga with a 60-point gap over 6th place Frankfurt. So it was always pretty much cemented they'll be in the top 5. This is the Black Yellows' lowest league finish since 2014-15, in which they finished 7th. They've also gone another season without silverware, failing to win any of their domestic cup, so this Champions League is their final shot at lifting a trophy this season, and their first since 2020-21. Despite performances this season, Dortmund have had to beat some strong opponents to make it to the finals. They had to beat their opponents' rivals in Atletico Madrid, as well as a star-studded PSG side, to secure their spot at Wembley. And this was after they topped a group that had the likes of PSG and AC Milan in it, as well as Newcastle, but we won't talk about that. It's been a remarkable European campaign for BVB. Unlike their opponents, they only have one player in the top 10 Bundesliga goal scorers, and that's Daniel Malen, who has scored 13 goals this season, but Füllkrug isn't far behind him. This final is made even sweeter though, as it will be Marco Reus's last game with the club. I think he's a true Dortmund legend. Reus has played 428 times for the club since joining in 2012. He's won 2 DFB Pokals and 3 Super Cups with the club, but has never lifted the Bundesliga or any European trophy with the club. And hopefully that changes on Saturday. A win here would be the perfect end to his time in Germany. It's a shame he could never lift the title, but in a league dominated by Bayern, that's not really anything to sniff at, though they did have the chance last season, but we won't talk about that. Now, on paper, this is a pretty easy match to call. Everything is pointing to Real Madrid lifting their 15th European crown in London, but in a final, all of that goes out the window. This is the biggest match in Europe on one of the biggest venues, so it's going to be a very tight fixture for both sides. Like I said, on paper, Real Madrid have the better squad with far more quality throughout, but again, that's only going to take you so far. The players at Real Madrid do have and will have much more experience playing in these types of matches than their opponents, which can only be a big boost for them, especially in these massive fixtures. It's good to have some experience within your ranks. But I'm going to be real here. I am rooting for Dortmund. A part of me is saying that they can and will win this, but it does look very unlikely, and they're definitely the underdogs here. I would love nothing more than to see Real Madrid lose the Champions League final and Marco Reus to lift that trophy in his final game for the club. I think that'd be phenomenal. I don't even hate Real Madrid. I just think it'd be great for Dortmund, to be honest. I'm pretty certain nobody expected to see Dortmund in the finals, let alone getting this far in itself. I didn't see them doing this well, but here they are, proving us all wrong. And what a campaign it's been for them. The German side will look to make things tough for Real Madrid to the best of their ability. I can see them implementing a very similar style of play to the one that worked so well against PSG. Obviously, PSG and Real Madrid are not on the same level, but they're both high caliber opponents in Europe that Dortmund weren't expected to beat, or aren't expected to beat in Real's case. Los Blancos will be a very tough side to contain, as they have a wealth of attacking talent at their disposal, which will put a lot of pressure on Dortmund. Against the Parisians, BVB only really had to deal with Mbappe, but Real's front line will be a lot harder to contain. The way they play under Ancelotti is so good. And as much as I want to see Dortmund lift their second Champions League, I can't see that happening under the arch at Wembley. This Real Madrid team look far too good, and no disrespect to Dortmund, need a better opponent to really challenge them. In my eyes though, Dortmund could pose a massive challenge to the most successful club in Europe, and I hope they do. It would be a great send-off for Royce, as I mentioned, seeing him captain the club to a European Cup in his last appearance for the team. That'd be phenomenal. That is a brilliant storyline that I hope is coming to fruition. But I just don't think Real Madrid will allow that to happen. Real Madrid are also buoyed by the fact that whoever wins their clash between Manchester City normally goes on to win the entire competition. So they do have that going for them as well. But records are there to be broken. And all I can say is I hope that Dortmund don't bottle another chance for a trophy. There's many likeable players in that squad. They're a very likeable team as they are. And I think seeing Royce lift the Champions League will be a very bittersweet moment for Dortmund fans. But one that I think they deserve, to be honest. And not only that, but everyone loves a good underdog story. And Dortmund are definitely the underdogs in this match. So while I do hope Dortmund win it, I don't think they can. But I would love nothing more. I'm rooting for you, Dortmund. I want you to win this. So please, prove everybody wrong. Prove that you're not the underdogs. And claim your second European crown, Join the two-time winners club. It's great here. We'd love to have you on board. I've been O2GT. Those would be my Champions League predictions for the 23-24 season. I didn't get many right all in all. But if there's one I want to get right, it's that Dortmund win the Champions League. But yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day. Please leave any predictions you may have in the comments down below. And yeah, I shall see you guys in the next one. Peace.